Certain actors, no matter how many films they do, are remembered by that one defining role. For Heath Ledger, his performance in The Dark Knight as the Joker is no different. In this video, join me as I reminisce about Ledger's iconic performance as the Clown Prince of Crime. It was the summer of 2008. Barack Obama was halfway through his first term as president. The iPhone 3G had just been released, and the #1 song in America was Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, but the summer was just heating up. On July 18th, the highly anticipated The Dark Knight was released into theaters. The Dark Knight was a sequel to 2005's Batman Begins, which was a reimagining of DC's darkest hero. The film got solid reviews and sent a message to audiences that Batman was finally back after his 8-year hiatus. Christopher Nolan returned to direct the next chapter in his realistic, gritty crime drama disguised as a superhero film. Christian Bale also returned to play Batman and Bruce Wayne. Bale's dark and moody portrayal of Batman was perfect for Nolan's gloomy vision of the crime-ridden Gotham City. Not only did the date signify the release of the summer blockbuster that would live on in the hearts of many for years to come, but it also meant that it would be nearly 6 months since the late Heath Ledger was found dead in his New York apartment from an accidental drug overdose. With the tragic death of Ledger still lingering in the back of audiences' minds, the anticipation for the film was that much bigger. The last time audiences saw the Joker on the big screen was in the iconic Batman 1989. The Joker was played by legendary actor Jack Nicholson. Nicholson gave an unforgettable performance as the Clown Prince of Crime and stole the show from the main character Batman. How could anyone possibly top this performance? It most definitely couldn't be surpassed by a young man who's known as a heartthrob to many young women around the world, right? Think again. Like Michael Keaton, whose casting as Batman in Batman 1989 drew major criticism, Heath Ledger would be met with the same skepticism towards his casting as the Joker in The Dark Knight. But Ledger wouldn't just prove audiences wrong, he would put on a performance for the ages. From the moment the Joker was introduced on screen for the first time, the audience was captivated and left in awe, itching for the next scene where Ledger would demonstrate his brilliance once more. The Australian heartthrob that was known for his boyish good looks and charming personality had completely disappeared. With long greasy hair, blotchy white makeup, and a scarred red smile that looked more like blood than red makeup, Ledger was completely unrecognizable as the Joker. As Commissioner Gordon and Batman continue their crusade on crime in Gotham City, the Joker crashes their plans. However, this is not your ordinary criminal. The Joker doesn't want money or anything tangible, he only wants death and destruction. Most villains in stories or films want to put an end to the hero. In this film, the Joker hungers for Batman to abandon his morality and to kill him so the Joker can prove there's no such thing as justice. The Joker is downright evil. He's constantly testing the good guys, not just Batman, but he tests the new district attorney Harvey Dent. At the beginning of the film, we see the trio of Batman, Gordon, and Dent making a pact that things will be done by the book. Gordon warned things would get ugly, and they did. In all films, there's conflict. In superhero films, there's the hero and then the villain. The ending is quite simple. The hero either wins or loses. In The Dark Knight, it's not that simple. At the end of the film, the Joker is finally arrested and his reign of terror is over. But did Batman really win? Not exactly. Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight, became exactly what he was fighting against: a cold-blooded criminal. In his restless pursuit to punish Gotham, he killed numerous people. At the end, Batman realized he had to take the fall for Dent's murders or their war on crime would mean nothing. Batman took the blame and disappeared into the night. On the surface, and to the citizens of Gotham City, it looked like Batman and Gordon had won their war on crime for the present time. But in reality, Batman and Gordon had lost. Ledger immersed himself into the role. To prepare for this role, Ledger locked himself in a hotel room and his apartment for 1 month. Within that time frame, Ledger experimented with different voices, deciding which would best fit the Joker. He also kept a diary which included lines from the film, pictures from Batman comics, and influences for his character such as Alex from A Clockwork Orange. There was plenty of big moments for Ledger's Joker. Arguably the best scene was the interrogation scene. In this scene, Batman interrogates Joker to find out the whereabouts of Harvey Dent. Things would turn physical. As a result, Ledger demanded Bale to actually hit him for real. Bale reluctantly did just that. In between takes, Ledger would throw himself against the walls. According to Bale, by the end of shooting the scene, there were cracks and dents in the walls of the set. But it was also the small things that made an equal impact. If we look back at the scene where James Gordon is promoted to commissioner, all his fellow officers started clapping. Unexpectedly, the Joker joined in by clapping himself. This was not in the script. However, Ledger knew the character so well that he did exactly what the Joker would have done in that moment. Another genius part to Ledger's performance was his constant licking of his lips. According to Chris Nolan, Heath had a prosthetic on his lower lip and sometimes it would come unglued. Ledger would then use his tongue to reattach the prosthetic. While some actors in this situation would complain or demand it to be fixed, Ledger used it to his advantage and adopted the flaw as a character trait. Ledger's co-stars remembered what it was like to work with Heath Ledger on the set of The Dark Knight. Michael Caine, who played Alfred, was initially reluctant on Ledger being cast as the Joker due to Jack Nicholson's iconic performance in Batman 1989. In Caine's memoir, he stated that him and the rest of the cast were so impressed with Ledger's performance on set that everyone felt they needed to up their game. He said Ledger's Joker was one of the scariest performances he'd ever seen. Christian Bale remembers vividly working with Heath and laughing in between takes, knowing how much fun Ledger was having playing this iconic character. Michael J. White, who played Gamble, has expressed numerous times over the years his high regards for Ledger's performance. White was impressed how Ledger, a known Hollywood heartthrob, could disappear into such a dark and intimidating role. In Heath Ledger's final interview, he states playing the Joker was the most fun he ever had playing a character. During weeks that followed the release of The Dark Knight, the world seemed to stand still. Critics and audiences were in awe of Ledger's performance, so much that Ledger's performance was already getting Oscar buzz. The film made over $1 billion worldwide at the box office, becoming the highest-grossing film ever at the time. 2 years later, it was dethroned by Avatar. A year later, Heath Ledger would win a posthumous Oscar for his performance as the Joker. His award was accepted on behalf of his family. With or without the Oscar, Ledger gave us an unforgettable, iconic performance, one that can never be matched or outdone. He was doubted from the very beginning that he could play such a sick, twisted character. But in the end, he would prove the world wrong, and Heath Ledger would have the last laugh.